You're looking at a happy couple. But this photo, it's data. And this AI can tell you with 94% accuracy if that marriage is doomed. It sounds like clickbait, but the truth is even stranger. At the University of Washington, psychologist Dr. John Gottman spent years analyzing how couples communicate. Not how they love, how they fight. He discovered something shocking. By watching just a few minutes of a couple arguing, he could predict with 94% accuracy whether they'd eventually divorce. Not based on the topic, but on the tone. It wasn't anger that broke people up. It was contempt, sarcasm, dismissiveness, eye rolls. The subtle signals that one partner feels superior to the other. Then came the machines. In 2015, researchers at USC and the University of Utah trained a machine learning model to replicate Gottman's work. They fed it thousands of conversations between real couples in therapy. The AI didn't need to understand the words. It analyzed tone, pitch, pacing, and subtle vocal patterns, and it learned to spot emotional decay. Just like Gottman, the AI wasn't looking for yelling. It was looking for how people shut each other down. And it worked. The AI could predict relationship failure with startling accuracy, sometimes more consistently than human therapists. What's wild is how little input it needed. Just 3 minutes of back and forth was enough to flag emotional danger zones. No history, no therapy notes, just raw tone. That's where things start to get uncomfortable. Because we're not just talking about one research lab anymore. Startups are already exploring tools that analyze couple dynamics in real time. Wearables that monitor stress levels during conversations. Apps that flag communication red zones based on your voice tone. And they're marketing it as relationship hygiene, like brushing your teeth, but for emotions. Imagine getting a weekly report from your smartwatch. Emotional stability, down 12%. Contempt risk, elevated. Partner connection index, 58 out of 100. Maybe that sounds helpful. Maybe it sounds dystopian. Now picture this same tech in premarital counseling, or in divorce mediation, or worse, in a courtroom. What if a custody judge gets presented with AI-generated compatibility scores? What if your relationship gets reduced to a heat map of arguments rolled into a percentage and printed out as evidence? And here's the thing, the AI might be right. Statistically, emotionally, behaviorally, it might make a very smart guess. But is that the same as understanding? Because here's what machines don't track. Forgiveness, rebuilding trust, the late-night conversation that shifts everything. Human relationships aren't static data points, they evolve. Sometimes the worst arguments spark the biggest breakthroughs, but AI doesn't measure growth. It measures patterns. And once a pattern is flagged, it sticks. There's a reason psychologists take years to train. They're not just spotting problems, they're guiding people through them. AI doesn't guide, it scores, and we're starting to treat those scores like truth. Think about how much weight people already give to algorithmic predictions. A credit score can shape your life. A resume filter can block your job. Now imagine adding relationship viability to that list. Would you date someone if their emotional compatibility rating was low? Would you swipe left on someone flagged as high conflict by an app? Would you stay in a marriage if your AI dashboard told you it was statistically doomed? It's easy to laugh at this now, but these tools are already in development. We're building systems that try to decode the messiest, most human parts of our lives. Love, conflict, connection, using models that were trained on patterns, not people. And maybe the scariest part isn't that they're wrong, it's that they're often right, just not complete. Let's go one step further. Imagine a future where couples apply for housing together, and their AI relationship score becomes part of the application. The landlord sees that you've had multiple flagged emotional events. You're marked high volatility. They deny the lease. Or insurance companies start using predictive relationship scores to adjust your premiums. High likelihood of divorce becomes a risk factor, because divorce is statistically linked to financial instability and health complications. Now your relationship isn't just between two people, it's a data point in someone else's system. And what about kids? What happens when AI-generated risk scores get used in custody battles, or by family court mediators? How much weight will a 94% prediction carry in determining where a child lives? Because even if the AI sees a relationship collapsing, even if it can chart the trajectory down to the month, it can't tell you what to do about it. It can't factor in who you want to become, what you're willing to work through, or what you still believe in. Relationships are not just patterns, they're choices. So yes, this AI can predict divorce, sometimes better than a therapist, sometimes faster than the people in the relationship realize it themselves. But should it? Because once we let an algorithm define what love looks like, we stop defining it for ourselves. If this kind of AI makes you uneasy or curious, you're not alone. We're just getting started. Subscribe for more stories about the algorithms shaping your future, even the ones you never see coming.